Right, here's two good rational questions. The first one, you're adding two rational expressions, and the next one we're dividing. Okay, so if I need to add any kind of fraction, I need to get a common denominator. And I can't get common denominators unless those things are factored. So let's do that first. So I have x squared minus 3 over, okay, it's a quadratic, so it's got a factor, something like that, plus x plus 2 over, this I can take a common factor of 5 out, x minus 3. Okay, now I got to factor that first thing. Now, and this is, you can't do this every time, but if I look at this one, I'll bet there's an x minus 3 over here. You know, I can't be positive, but I'm sort of thinking that it might be. And so the other one would have to be a 8x. So 8x times x, 8x squared. And then to get a 27 at the end, I'd have to use a 9 here. So plus 9. Let me just confirm that that's right. 8x times 8x is 8x squared. 8x times that's a minus 24x. 9 times x is a positive 9x. 9 times minus 3 is minus 27. So if I add these together, yeah, I get negative 15. So that's correct. It was sort of fluky, but just looking, if they're going to make you add fractions, you might be able to get away with that. All right, so now I need to find the lowest common denominator. Lowest common denominator is going to have to include an 8x plus 9 and an x minus 3. And then here it needs a 5, so put a 5 there too. And then x minus 3 I already have. So this would be my lowest common denominator. So I need to change each one of them to be like that. So this is what I have so far. I have x squared minus 3 over 8x plus 9 times x minus 3. That's what I have, but the denominator, this one, how is this one different than this one here? There's a 5, so I need to include a 5 here on the bottom. But if I include a 5 on the bottom, I also have to include a 5 on the top. So I multiply both top and bottom by 5. All right, plus, this is what I have, an x plus 2 over 5 times x minus 3. Now compare the lowest common denominator with what I have, and it looks like I need to multiply on the bottom by 8x plus 9. Then it has that whole denominator. If I do that on the bottom, I'm going to have to do that on the top. Okay, so now I have a common denominator. So let me write the common denominator down here. 5 times 8x plus 9 times x minus 3. That's my common denominator. And then on the top, I'll have 5 times x squared minus 3 plus x plus 2 times 8x plus 9. Yeah, I think that's good. Now I just have to simplify. So the top, the first one I can multiply the 5 through, so it'd be 5x squared minus 15 plus. This one I'll have to do the FOIL thing. So I'll have 8x squared plus 9x plus 16x plus 18. All over that common denominator. 8x plus 9 times x minus 3. And now I just have to simplify the top, so collect like terms. 5x squared and 8x squared would give me a 13x squared. 9 and 16x would give me a plus 25x. And then minus 15 and plus 18 would give me plus 3. All over 5 times 8x plus 9 times x minus 3. Now probably I'd try and factor the top two and see if I could cancel anything, but 13 times 3 is 39. There's nothing that multiplies to 39 that's going to give you 25. So I'm calling this part as my finished answer. Okay, hopefully that makes some sense to you there. Starting with that, getting a common denominator, and part of it is getting that common denominator, especially when you have to factor out something as nasty as that one there. But that's something that you practice. Okay, next question. This one I'm dividing these two rational expressions. This is actually a complex rational expression where I have a fraction over a fraction. Now to simplify that, basically what I want to get to is I want to get one thing over one thing. So I don't want to have these two fractions in there. The easiest way to simplify these is to look at both denominators. Look at this denominator. That green doesn't show up that well. That denominator and that denominator. And say what would be a common denominator. So the common denominator will be xy. And then what you do is you multiply each, the top, this whole top, and this whole bottom by that common denominator. Let me show you how to do that. So I have 9x squared minus y squared over xy all over 3x plus y over just an x. So my common denominator is xy. So I'm going to take and multiply this by xy. And you can call it xy over 1 if you want. And then I'll multiply the whole bottom by xy over 1. Now notice I multiplied top and bottom by xy over 1, so I didn't change the equality of the expression. But this is going to allow me to simplify things. Because now what I can do is, there's an xy on the top, xy on the bottom cancelled. So all I really have on the top now is 9x squared minus y squared all over 1. But you don't have to write the 1. Okay, all over this one, the two x's cancel. So I'd be left with 3x plus y times y. Now the top thing is looking a little fishy to me. I think that I can factor that top. It's a difference of squares. So I'll split the 9x squared into a 3x and a 3x. I'll split the y squared into y and a y. And one will be plus and one will be minus. Okay, all over 3x plus y times y. Do you see why I factored that? So for sure now I can cancel this with this. So my final answer will be 3x minus y all over y. Done. So that's the simplification of that one. Those are good questions. Keep asking them.